We busy, 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 we busy. That bitch so pretty, got a mean girl just like Lindsay. Said she fucking with me, making drives across the city. Swear this shit can get too litty. Pushing be like Diddy, you ain't B-boy, who you kidding? At the top, I see you there. In LA, I see you there. At the space, I see you there. Texas State, I see you there. I know y'all go crazy, y'all be turning up in the square. Take another pill and we get turned up just by anywhere. Hit you and say yeah just to see if there's a feelings there.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's your boys over here at Three Man Weave. I'm your co-host CJ. Here with my lovely co-host
Yes, sir. Yes,
ZD.
sir. I'm in the.
Things I was about to say things look a little different now.
Yeah.
Like we said, we kind of want to start doing a little virtual episodes every now and then, just so we could talk about stuff kind of as it happens. This is our first run, so pardon the technical difficulties if there is
Yeah.
any, but
Already.
we're still gonna get to it. We'll probably do like the in-person episodes on like special occasions, like the Christmas games, like probably the weekend after that, like the big games, like before the playoffs start, All-Star game, like those type of things.
Exactly.
Everything else we'll probably do
Yeah.
like this, just because it's just a little bit easier for both of us. And y'all don't see, but Alex is behind. He's like on monitor right now, or admin or whatever, so he's helping us out.
Yeah.
So we'll ask him questions, or if he has any questions that he wants to ask us throughout the pod, we'll get to it. But like I was telling you, ZD, this past week, I really wasn't watching hoops like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was playing Call of Duty. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's
Double
all good.
XP
It's all
weekend.
good.
Had my aunt had a wedding, so I wasn't able to watch some of the games. But I'm definitely keeping up with the Thunder. Every time they
Yeah.
play, I'll check the score. Or, I get notifications from ESPN, NBA, all the good stuff. Um, One of the main things that stuck out to me with the Thunder, at least, was I think it was on Saturday. We played the Hawks, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah.
And going into that game, I think Shea had 25 going into the fourth quarter. And I check at the end of the game, and he ends up still only having 25. And as a OKC fan, as a fan of the team, that doesn't really mean anything to me. It just goes to show, like we said in the very first episode, the depth of the team and how well they play as a unit. The fact
Right.
that our all NBA player, MVP candidate,
Right.
didn't even have to score in the fourth quarter. Some might
Yeah.
say, oh, like I mean, like I said, I didn't watch the game, so I couldn't
I
tell you.
mean,
I don't know.
yeah, I was about to get into it, man. Another thing, just to add on to the beginning too, is just we're really just doing this stuff on Discord so we can be more efficient for y'all. But anyways, just trying to get out the content as quick as possible. You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I mean, I've been watching, bro, and I would say they're probably the second best defensive team in the league right now. Probably behind the Celtics, obviously. Like over the stretch of 82 games, likely the Celtics are probably going to end up being the best defensive team in the league as expected. But the Thunder are right there. I remember I was watching the Chet Wemby matchup that happened. I don't know if you kind of saw that on social media a little bit, but
I
did you?
saw that we held him to 6 points for the
Yeah,
entire game.
I was gonna say, bro, the defense, man, it looked amazing, and obviously that's what Chet can bring to the Thunder. But it's really the other pieces around him that have been playing very well. Guys like Caruso, Jay Will, obviously. I would even argue like right now, J Dub is kind of struggling a little bit, and he's still averaging 20 points or whatever the case may be. And kind
Mm.
of once he finds his shot, like I think the Thunder will be even more of like a team to be reckoned with. But yeah, bro, they've been winning all their games pretty much. I mean, I think they've only had what, like one or two losses?
No, we don't have any losses.
Really?
Actually, we're 6-0, and each of our games we've won by double digits, which I think I don't know, remember the stat off the top of my head, but I think it's the first time since like Miami or something like that, or it was something like I don't know off the top of my head. I saw it on Twitter, you know what I mean? But
No, for
you
sure.
know,
No,
and
yeah,
it's
no,
it's our first time being 6-0 ever. I think it's our
ever.
friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
I
no,
think
like I said, bro, like, y'all still have so much room to grow. I mean, again, like I think they play the Magic today, and
Yeah,
they're kind of yeah, the Magic are obviously beat up. You know, Paulo's been unfortunately. Jalen Suggs looks really good though, and obviously Franz Wagner. You know, they're going to be able to get more opportunities, but they're most likely going to lose to the Thunder tonight. So y'all are probably going to be 7-0. And
correct.
kind of going to the Lakers, obviously, because I was
Yeah,
watching them pretty closely. You know, we've been playing okay. We looked really good against the Raptors, obviously, but that's the Raptors. My worry is with them is like against the Cavs, man. One of the things that really stuck out to me was, and I don't know if you were able to like catch any of the highlights or anything, but Jared Allen was giving Anthony Davis fits, and I don't know if we're gonna be able to really compete with the how you could say it, top tier teams. The Cavs are also undefeated, if I'm not mistaken.
they're 7-0 right now.
Yeah, they're very good. They're a
Mhm.
very good team. So there's nothing wrong with losing to them, but it kind of goes to show you that like I don't know if we've fully taken that next step, like I had said on not to retract my statement, but I think like we're still gonna have to do a little bit more work to be able to beat those teams. And
Mhm.
you know that there's nothing wrong with that. Like I think
Nah,
you know that obviously it's early in the season. You know Anthony Davis is still doing his thing, and
mm,
Dalton Connect is obviously getting buckets too. And I saw a stat, bro. It was kind of crazy. I don't think there's a rookie in this year's class that's hit more than 23s.
really? In the
Yeah, bro.
first 6, 7 games?
Yeah,
What
like
what
there's
do you
just
like, how do you feel about that? Do you think this, Ricky class is,
uh
like, not that
well
good?
there's uh
Or is it just, like, one of those type of drafts where you gotta give the players time? It's not like a Wembanyama or even a Chet or a Paolo,
I
you know what
was
I mean?
gonna
There
say,
wasn't
bro.
that solidified number 1 pick, right? I guess it was Sarr, but he didn't wanna go to the Hawks, so
Right,
that's why
right.
Ricochet and,
Yeah,
now Sarr is doing his thing, but,
yeah,
I think at the end of the day, like, a lot of these players, probably looking back, I feel like we'll look back at this draft and probably say that, "Oh, man, these are really good, like, keys to a championship contender." It
right.
may not be a franchise cornerstone, but it's someone that can help them win games. And I think that's
Exactly.
kind of what I took from this draft class so far.
No, yeah, I was gonna add to that, kind of like if people don't know this, but there's all stars in every draft. It doesn't really matter kind of what draft class it is. Like, you know, there's guys that are there's diamonds in the rough everywhere. You know, like you were alluding to, I just think there's got to be a little bit more time given to these younger guys. But I mean, Alex Sarr looks good. He probably looks the best out of all of them, in my
Mm,
opinion. But you know, that's kind of expected with you know where he did
where
and
he's
everything.
where he's playing
Yeah,
at,
exactly,
the
exactly. And,
opportunities.
I mean, and this is to the Lakers' point. I think we talked about it a little bit, maybe not actually, but they're gonna like put Bronny in the G League, which I think is smart to you know try to give him a little bit more run instead of you know putting him out there against guys that are really developed that have been playing years and years. Like even Austin Reeves, I would say now is like almost like getting to the point where he's an NBA veteran, man. Like he's been in the league a couple years, 3 years,
Yeah.
so like he's been really, showing the leadership that we need in the locker room and stuff like that. But I think it's good they're giving some younger guys a chance. But yeah, man, I think it's one of the worst ones we've had in the last decade. I'm gonna be honest. Like I
You think
can't.
so?
I mean, yeah, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Just, like,
with kind
star
of how
power-wise or
things.
just
Uh, I'm not sure, bro. Like I don't know, man. Like it depends. I mean? What do you think, man? Like
I'm kinda like I said, like, same boat, I don't think any like you said, there's gonna be all-stars regardless. I
yeah,
mean, you
yeah.
can't it's obviously the rookie season, not everyone can come into the league being a Paolo or you know what I
You
mean?
also got to remember, bro. People are tanking for Cooper Flag.
They sure are. That
So yeah, like I think people were looking ahead, kind of even when they drafted for this rookie class. Like they were just like, oh well, next year's draft is going to be a little bit different. Like
yeah,
hopefully we'll just see how the season plays out. So
yeah, I was about to say, I
yeah,
think this upcoming rookie or, NBA draft is, like, nice.
gonna be
There's a
fine.
lot of
Yeah,
Ace Bailey, and then we
yeah,
have, like you have all, like, like, fifth-year seniors that are still playing from, like, COVID,
yeah,
Caleb Love, like,
yeah,
all
bro. And like
mhm.
on the team that low key has been like not doing super hot that would low key have a high draft pick right now is the Sixers.
Mm.
And Embiid, bro, just you know what I mean. I don't know if you saw what going on with him,
Yeah,
with
yeah,
that reporter and everything, and
yeah.
obviously,
Let,
you know what's crazy about what's up? What's up?
I was gonna say, let the people know. I don't think everyone knows,
Oh
but
yeah, no, yeah, I got you. But you know what's crazy about that situation is I think even last year, I mean, you guys, if you guys follow the NBA, you guys kind of see these injury reports come out. It's very hidden. You know, you don't really know who's going to be on the injury report day to day, especially in the NBA. It's kind of an everyday thing. It's always interchanging and stuff like that. So it's very easy to kind of hide certain things. So the injury report stuff for Embiid has always been kind of a lingering thing since he's been in the NBA because he's always been hurt. But specifically this year, you know, there's no real injury. Uh, you know, he's kind of just sitting out because he doesn't really feel confident in his ability right now to be in game shape and be able to play at the highest level. And you know, that's rubbing some people the wrong way. And obviously, as it should, you know, because people are starting to question whether or not he's really engaged, if he wants to be there, blah blah blah. But yeah, what had happened was with this reporter, man, was kind of a I think it was with like Chris. It was with like Marcus Haynes. Somebody.
yeah,
Who was
Marcus something. Here, I'll look it up real quick. But yeah,
somebody, man. Yeah, I don't want to get his name wrong because it's kind of a big deal. But essentially, what happened with that situation is, if you guys don't know, obviously the reporters have a lot of like behind the scenes access. They're allowed to talk to the players, and that's kind of a thing in the media. Like, you know, players should be able to uh, like confront, you know, the media if they say something negative or if they critique the way that they play. But that's not the point. The point was essentially those guys were talking. They were having an interview. And, I guess the reporter kind of mentioned something about his family or like his dad. I want to say his brother or something like
yeah, I think
that.
so. I
He
think it
also
was
said, like,
like
his kid.
Embiid named his son after his younger brother that passed away when he got
Yeah,
drafted, and I think the reporter, his name is Marcus Hayes for
yeah,
the
yeah.
Philadelphia Inquirer.
Yeah, so I had the name. Yeah, I had the right name right.
He said something about, Embiid wants to show his son what it is to be like a good man or something like that. And
Right.
Marcus Hayes said something about like, well, if you want to show your son what it takes to be a good man, you need to show up for work or something like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't know, it just got a little too personal for my liking. You sent that, and I was like, I don't know. I just don't think you need to involve like family and stuff. Like obviously, Embiid has brought a lot of, wins to the city, and of course, like the goal is
Yeah.
always a chip. But realistically, we know what's gonna happen with Embiid. If he plays the whole season, he's gonna probably get injured in the playoffs, and if he doesn't play the whole season, then everyone's gonna complain that he didn't.
Right.
So it's kind of like a give and take type of thing
The
with Embiid.
double-edged sword. Exactly.
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 And I think we talked about it in the first episode. It's like, with PG, same thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So,
man.
expectations going into the season for Philly were obviously championship. So it not looking like that right now, but
Oh
it's
no,
beginning.
bro. Oh, you know, PG. I give a little bit more. Not to. I mean, I love Embiid. Obviously, I'm not gonna. You know, if he doesn't want to play, honestly, in my opinion, he shouldn't have to play.
Mhm.
If he, you know, if he doesn't feel like it. But
Yeah,
with Paul George, we saw the injury that happened, right? Like we saw it, so we
yeah,
know he was hurt. It was
mhm,
genuinely an injury, right? There's no questions behind like why he's been out or anything like that. And
mhm,
really, like what it does is like it just puts a fear. I feel like in Philadelphia Sixers fans because they're like, oh my god, what if this doesn't work out? Blah blah blah.
yeah,
Don't forget though, they signed these guys, man. So luckily they didn't trade away draft assets. I
mhm,
think Daryl Morey did it properly. Luckily they're not somebody like a New York Knicks or you know people that just hauled away draft picks, you know, to be able to get superstars, which there's nothing wrong with doing that, but that can impact your future if something like this doesn't go wrong, like right.
mhm,
Um, and so I think this is, you know, it's a good backup plan. At least they have, you know, Maxi, right? Like they still have like I would say 8 years will they be able to draft people, and even if Embiid and Paul George that work out, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about it in the first episode. We might have talked about it, off camera, but what were your
Yeah.
thoughts about Embiid saying that he's not gonna play any back-to-backs?
For me, it really just depends on like how that rubs your locker room. Um, in my opinion, like I feel like if you're able to play back to back, you should go. What I would have said is like, oh, I'm just gonna kind of figure it out as I go. So if you end up not playing back to backs, like that didn't need to be like directly stated, and nobody would have batted an eye if you weren't playing the back to backs. Like people would have caught on to it, but
Mhm.
I think there was a better way to state that. In my opinion, kind of like what I think they should do with Embiid, bro. And this is like I've had this idea for years. I think they should just name him as a game time decision every game and just
Mhm.
give him the freedom to, hey, can you go? If the answer is no, cool. If the answer is yes, cool, bro. And that might be on a back to back. Like sometimes he might be like, oh, I can go today. Like I feel good, bro. Like we won last night. Like I'm not too tired. I only played 30 minutes. Like maybe you only played 25 minutes because it's a blowout, bro. Like you're not even thinking about that. So I would be a little bit more cautious. Like again, what do we know, CJ? We don't get paid millions of dollars, right? Like,
Right,
what do we
right,
know?
right.
But I would just be a little bit more cautious with the injury report and disclosing that, even though that can be seen, like I just said, as like you're trying to hide something, right?
Right.
Um, and that's where I think the issues have erupt. Like they've come to the surface to where like you got reporters calling them out and stuff like that for personal things, which I think is not even on the table. So,
Right.
but yeah, bro, I just wish they had a little bit more clarity around that situation. But it's definitely impacting the league. I think a lot of Eastern teams are going to be able. Again, like the Hornets are another fun team that they're winning just as much as or losing just as much as the Sixers are. Like it's not, the East is going to be a rat race. It seems like this year.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. And then kind of, going into a little bit more of the Eastern Conference, what are your thoughts on the Bucks, man?
Oh,
Giannis, Dame. I think they both dropped 30 last night
hey,
in a loss.
they're most likely going to be all stars, man. It's not
Yeah,
them, but
yeah. It
uh,
so is it well, like I'm assuming you've been watching them play the
I've been
Bucks?
watching them play. I watched. I mean, I posted on Three Man Weave on Instagram, man. So y'all go follow that. It'll be in the description. But yeah, no. I watched the Cavaliers game the other day. I didn't. I don't watch a ton of Bucks games because again, they're not super fun. Like
Right.
it really is just Dame and Giannis kind of going back and forth, and that's to
Hero
be
ball.
expected. Yeah, it's not. It's not anything. It's not. It's not news to you whenever
Mhm.
you see that. But what I did notice against that in the Cavs game that I did watch is it
Mhm.
was very, they played very hard. They played down to the final whistle. Just Donovan Mitchell hit a better shot. Sometimes that's how it works in the NBA, and you'll get those losses. But I think what's hurting them is, again, them losing to teams like the Hawks and, the Nets. And, even the Nets, again, another sleeper team. Cam Thomas, Dennis Schroeder, they will give you 30. Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
not funny. Like those guys will shoot 20, 25 times. And like you're saying, like we've always talked about it. Cam Thomas not afraid, Dennis Schroeder not afraid. So if you let those guys go off, you look up and you're down 10, in the fourth quarter. So I think for me, it's really they've just been losing those cupcake games that they shouldn't be losing, bro. And it's been impacting them a lot. And I honestly don't think Doc Rivers is a good coach either, bro.
no,
I genuinely think he's a mega prop. Like they should have just kept Adrian Griffin and just wrote it out. Because I mean, Doc Rivers is not a winning coach in my opinion. No slight to him as a man, great person, championship ring. But
mhm,
as of right now in 2024, I don't think he's a winning coach. It's really
no,
hard to win with him at the
yeah,
helm. So,
five
I mean, what
five
do you think about
losses,
it?
bro. Uh, just like I said, kind of outside looking in, just you know, not
Right?
not not watching the games, just kind of looking at the scores and stuff.
Yeah, seeing
It
the
looks
stuff in the
like
news.
yeah, it just looks like the role players aren't stepping up and aren't able to contribute to what is the Bucks had championship aspirations, of course, but it's just kind of like where are we gonna go from here? Because
Yeah,
I don't think they're not gonna be bad enough to get a top pick in a draft, and they're not gonna probably be as if they keep this up now, they're not gonna
Right.
be good enough to make a chip. So it's
That's
kind of
another
like
great point.
what is
They're
the
in the
question?
middle. They're in the middle. So like they're gonna be a playoff team most likely because the East isn't that great, but that kind of hurts you in the draft. So you
Yeah.
can't rebuild anything. And in my opinion, this would be like the sellout. This is like a secret, bro. So don't tell anybody. But in my opinion, you could even like blow it all up and just trade Dame and just be like, fuck it, it didn't work out. We're just gonna try to get max value for what he's worth right now. We're not gonna try to drag this out because they're not gonna win a championship and they're not beating the Celtics. Like, no way. If they beat the Celtics, it's because injuries, which could happen.
Mhm.
Injuries are a part of the game. I'm not going to sit here and say it could never happen, but just in realist, like if they're healthy versus healthy, like I don't really see how that's going to happen. And as long as the Celtics have that roster, even with Kristaps Porzingis still out for just chilling on the sideline, like it's going to be really tough for the Bucks to be able to conquer the East. So we'll have to see what they do. But that would be my like ultimate emergency is kind of just see, shop Dame, see what you can get for him. Maybe send him out to Miami, go get Jimmy Butler. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you go get Jimmy. You
Yeah.
try to pair him up with Giannis, see how that works. Go sign a minimum point guard like the Suns did with Tyus Jones, and kind of the Suns are another great team where they're going to be good too because again like they have continuity. They did switch coaches, but that they're kind of an example of what the Bucks should be right now. It's like they got a new coach, right? So they're trying to build continuity, but they're not winning games. It's not translating to on the court play.
Yeah. Yeah, and obviously we're not saying that, they won't figure it out. But it is like kind of alarming that they can't scrape out these dubs against the
Very
teams
alarming.
that should be winning.
Very, I would say very alarming.
Yeah,
Like,
very much so.
I would be honest, like, I think Giannis could ask out, bro. That's like the underlying thing. And you know what's crazy, bro? I've been doing a lot of research today on it, and I was going through like what Brian Windhorst was saying. Well, Giannis, he was sick today, bro, on his pod, but he said, well, Giannis signed the extension. I said, that don't matter.
That doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't mean anything anymore in 2024.
Right.
Like these, yeah, like it would be one thing to say that in 2016. Yeah, okay, he signed the extension, whatever. But these players be playing carousel, bro. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So if Giannis goes up to the GM and goes, "Yo, I want out. I don't know what they're gonna do," and
Nah.
he's very valuable. Like, you
Oh,
know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
Top 5 player in the
he's
league.
yeah, I was gonna say he's worth a ton. They could get a ton for him. So you would kind of have to look into that.
Yeah.
Already won a finals. He's got max value probably right now. Like you're saying, Giannis is so good, bro. And I feel like that's just swept under the table because he's not winning. But
Yeah.
again, he's top 3 in points right now, top 10 in rebounds. Like he's doing his thing. Even Dame is doing his thing, like you said, bro. He put up 30. Like
Yeah.
Dame had one bad shooting night, I think, on the season, but other than that, bro, he's been getting to a bucket. It's
Yeah.
just, it's an interesting ordeal over there. I hope they can figure it out.
Yeah, same. I agree, bro. I want to see them do good, because
Yeah,
that is the picture perfect situation, right? You have
yeah,
someone that is such a dominant force inside, defensive minded, you know what I mean? And then you get someone like Dame who can shoot pretty much anywhere past half court, like that
right,
was like, oh, this is what Giannis needed. But
yeah.
I don't know. It's looking like where that Bucks team that won the chip, they had more so an identity, right? As a
Yeah,
unit and not just, oh, hey, give Giannis the ball or hey, give Dame the ball.
and
So
we're not therapists or anything, but from like what I can see, I'm sure you can see this too on the court. They just look fractured. I don't know if Dame wants to be there. Like he
mm,
doesn't look super happy.
mm,
There's not a ton of smiling. So
yeah,
yeah, man. I mean, we'll get into the Nuggets right now. I think we can kind of
right.
get into that. They're kind of another similar team where in terms of their core, obviously they've had continuity, with MPJ, Jamal Murray, Jokic, guys like that. But I think the Westbrook signing has ended up being like okay. Again, in episode 1, I said like he hasn't been doing well because he hadn't, but he's done a lot better since then. And I think Christian Braun is really coming into
Mm,
his own. So I feel
yeah,
like they're in a lot better of a spot because again, Malone is a proven coach who's won a title, obviously, and they have a 3 3-time MVP in Nikola Jokic, which is just insane to say, but he is
Yeah.
that good. So he can carry you. And I even think right now he's averaging 30, which he doesn't even like to score, but the
Mhm.
Nuggets aren't good. So he's kind of being forced to do a little bit more. I was watching him against the Nets and they went into overtime. Really
Mhm.
good game. But I'll never forget Jamal Murray kind of pulled him to the side on the timeout and he was like, you got to shoot the ball because we don't have the team anymore where it's just swing, swing. KCP 40% from the corner. Like it's not.
Yeah,
It's gotta be you. Like
yeah,
he pulled him to the side. He was like, "You got to shoot the ball,"
yeah,
because sometimes Jokic can be very passive. But
yeah,
they look better. I've
yeah.
watched a couple games. They look better.
Yeah, I was about to say, it seems like Jamal Murray is kind of, not having that great of a season so far, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
And I
I
feel
mean,
like,
he hasn't been an All Star yet. He
yeah,
never really does. I mean, he's had good seasons, obviously, but I think he's more again focused on the playoff.
yeah,
He's trying to
yeah.
get there.
It it's crazy, right? How fast the league is. Like, what, 2 seasons ago, they were
And then
NBA
dynasty, like one of the greatest teams of all time.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
I think it just kind of shows like what we talked about it in a previous episode, like the second apron luxury tax, like
Uh,
it's screwing over like these teams in a sense because they had pretty much their squad that was supposed to be a dynasty, and then
right.
KCP ended up leaving, and
No,
not
yeah,
saying that he would have made that difference, but obviously he was a huge part of that team defensively and shooting wise. That was the person in the corner hitting those threes for
yeah,
them,
man.
which they're lacking very much so. And Jokic even said it, like we're not a good shooting team, we're a streaky team,
Yeah,
shooters. So
and I mean, and like you're saying, bro, there's gonna be $600 million that you got to pay Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, MPJ, and Jokic. Like
yeah,
$600 million. That's you're saying that's the team right there. I
yeah,
mean, you gotta hope Christian Braun doesn't do because he's gonna go get signed by somebody else who has
yeah,
cap space, who can
yep,
afford to pay him $100 million, like you're saying, and that's what you're. I think that's what you meant when you were alluding to the second apron. It's like you can't even keep the players you're developing because you
yeah,
can't pay them. You
right,
can't pay
exactly,
them. You don't have the cap space to even afford to. Oh well, we'll give Christian Braun what he's worth market value because he's
yeah,
he's averaging what like 14 points. A couple like he's gonna be $80 player, and it's like the Nuggets don't have that in their budget. Like they're
not
gonna
at
have
all,
to move that around. So it is interesting. And again, they're one of those teams too, gonna be in the playoffs, so no draft,
yeah,
right? It's not gonna be the best draft. I think Strawther looks good. That was another good pick, late pick that they were able to make like 2 years ago now.
mm,
Um, and he's looked good, but again, like you gotta those are hit or miss. That's not gonna hit all the time. But yeah, man, the Nuggets, I think they're playing a lot better than they were a week ago, week and a half ago when we first spoke.
yeah,
The games that I've been watching, they beat the Nets. They're winning the games that they need to win.
mm,
But again, do I think they're gonna beat the Celtics? Like if they were to get to the finals?
yeah,
No. You
no,
know? Like
no.
you're saying, there's second apron team. So
Yeah, yeah, no, it's just crazy, bro. Like you said, obviously Jokic can lead them to wherever,
oh
what I mean?
man,
He's Jokic, but
I never doubt him.
it's what can the rest of the players on the team step up, and I
Yeah,
feel like that's kind of what this league is coming to, and it's not so, focused on just the best player on the
yeah.
team, because once
I
you
have
get
a theory for you.
what's up?
Um, in terms of, I just think that the Wolves, the Mavericks, kind of smell blood with the Nuggets. Like they kind of know that it's over, or not.
Yeah,
Oh, Jesus! But that's how I feel. Like I mean, I'm gonna be honest, bro. Like it ain't really Jokic. Like you're saying, Jokic just has to go hero ball, and he's still reluctant to do that. Like he
yeah,
doesn't even really want to do that, and he's kind
yeah,
of gonna be forced to do that in the playoffs. And I think the Suns are so good, but the Timberwolves and the Mavericks, the Suns, like those three teams, they're a little bit more. They got a little bit more juice, and you can
yeah,
see it, in my
yeah.
opinion.
100%,
Yeah.
bro. Kind of just jumping around over the league, right?
Yeah.
We talked about the Cavs earlier, bro. 7-0. What are your thoughts on them? Do you think they're the real deal?
Yeah, I think I said when you were going over your 2K ratings with D Mitch, um, gave him that like 90, that A minus play. I think their roster again about continuity. We've talked about it on a previous pods. Like they developed their guards really well. Again, guys like Karis, like they've just kept their team together. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And JB Bickerstaff did end up having to go, right? But that's okay. I want to say, Kenny's done a really good job kind of like speeding them up and, making them play a little bit faster. I think
Mhm.
that's also like helped them a lot. And even with Jared Allen, I think he's improved a ton since he played on the Nets. And I think he's one of the top 10 centers in the league, you know, and that's kind of like, he is, in my opinion. I really do think Jared Allen coming into his own really helped them. They're in the East too, so you never know what could happen. Do I think they could beat the Celtics again? Like we got to measure it up to them. I don't know, but as long as they can guard, if they're hitting their threes, bro, I think it's a. They're not even fully healthy too. They don't even have Strus right now. Like they're
Yeah.
missing a couple guys, so I think they could even be better than they are right now, deeper into the season if they're healthy, because they have that continuity. What do you
Yeah.
think about it?
Yeah, no, it's for one, it's just cool seeing, them being successful after LeBron because
Ooh,
as someone that has been watching the league since LeBron has been in it and the Cavs haven't really done anything without him, it's super
mm.
cool seeing that
Bronny got his first bucket in
Bronny
Cleveland.
did, he
Yeah,
sure
so that
did.
was super dope.
Yeah,
Super
yeah,
cool.
yeah. So it's just cool, bro. I like seeing these, smaller market teams doing well because it just I think it proves to people that if you do it the right way. I mean, obviously they got Donovan Mitchell, which was a huge signing, but like
Of
everyone else
course.
on the team is pretty much developed there. So,
Exactly. Yeah.
it's super cool for me to see that because like all we hear about is the Celtics, the
Sign and
Lakers,
trade. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? So like it's
Spend
cool
all
to
your
see
money.
development through a team and it being successful.
Right. And like you're saying, man, they've been going to the playoffs without Braun for like I think there's a lot of hope in Cleveland just in general. Like you've been saying, I think when LeBron left, a lot of people just assumed that the Cavaliers would be left for dead, and honestly, they were. Like whenever LeBron leaves, any team, it's kind of it's hope all hope is lost. The sky is falling. You know what people say, but like you're saying, they've developed very well, and they haven't been afraid to make certain moves that have helped. Again, like bringing up Sam Merrill, getting Georges Niang, who's been on the team for a couple years, guys like that, where
Mhm.
you can build continuity and make a real roster, bro, and stop, trying to always trade and sign all these guys where it's like, they got a couple max players and DG, and Donovan Mitchell and even Mobley will
Mobley, yeah.
Mobley's the other guy who, if he wasn't able to develop quick enough, there could have been a lot of issues with that. But luckily, he's been able to get a lot better. And even this year, he's trying to shoot more threes. I don't know if he'll ever be able to get a 3-point shot, but
Yeah.
he's at least attempting them, and he's putting pressure on the defense with his scoring. So hopefully, it translates to the playoffs. But we'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, I hope so
Shout out
too.
30 for that one. That's
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
dope.
yeah,
The,
heck yeah,
the Cavs are really repping, bro. Cleveland, they're bringing hope to Cleveland, man.
they are, and it's super dope to see, bro. So, shout out to the Cleveland, the land.
The land,
Um, what about the Raptors, bro? What are your thoughts on?
bro. I think they're cold, man. Another team that they suck. Like they're not a good team. I was watching them against the Lakers. Grady Dick,
Brady Dig?
whenever Scotty B comes back, RJ Barrett like playing for Toronto is dope to see. That's another thing that's if y'all don't know, me and CJ know, but he's from there, so it's
Yeah.
really cool to see him play for his home. Like he you can tell he has juice, bro. And
Mhm.
obviously Emmanuel Quick, like they have a squad.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm really happy to see though that they're giving Grady Dick more opportunities. I really think that was kind of a big question mark for me is like when are you gonna let him shoot 15, 20 times too? But
yeah.
now they are because guys are hurt, and clearly that's going to continue whenever guys come back because they can see that he can score with the best of them. And
Yeah.
yeah, they're a fun team, man. That's another team where League Pass has been really good to me. I've been able to catch Raptors games, and they look fun, bro. They look
Yeah.
fun. I think they play the Nuggets today, so I don't know if they're gonna get a W, but they're gonna give them for their money. Like
Yeah.
they play hard. Chris Broussard looks good too. He looks
Mm,
really good.
yeah.
Another kind of sleepy guy, but
Yeah, I
he's
would say
good.
they're another team that, they just draft well and they develop their players,
Yep.
So
Yeah.
shout out to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Aside, their owner's very like, I mean, I don't know if you've heard him talk, but he's very like very calm, cool, collected. He wants to build from within. He's kind of he reminds me of Sam Presti a little bit, just black.
yeah,
He's very intelligent.
yes.
He's very highly spoken, and
Mhm.
he's honestly, you know what like people forget they finals, recent within the last 10 years. So they are no slouch franchise. They're a great franchise with good history, and obviously the Vince Carter thing was dope too. So we can end on that. That was really cool to see. They
Facts.
put his jersey in the rafters, so that was cool. Shout out Toronto, bro. For
Yeah,
sure. That's another great team to talk about.
hell yeah. I got another one for you, sir.
Okay.
LaMelo Ball balling out, averaging 30
Hey,
points a game right now. I'm
hey,
not.
he cooked the Celtics, bro, 2 games in a row, back to back, and they were like doubling him and shit. I
Mhm.
was even looking on the bench, like Drew Holiday. They were all like, "Damn, like you cannot guard this man right now, bro. There's not a there. If the Celtics guard him, there's nobody who can guard him,
Yeah,
like for real. Like
yeah,
that. Even the Celtics were just like, this man LaMelo is just torching us, man,
yeah.
torching us.
Yeah, and
And-
they I don't know, man. That's always been the thing with, him specifically, LaMelo. It's like we know what he can be, obviously all-star
uh,
player. It's just the
six
health.
eight point guard.
Yeah, it's just the if can he stay healthy for the whole season? Like I don't think
I'm
we've seen it.
praying that that is one dude where I hope the Hornets kind of, you know what, he don't have to play this back to back. Like we're gonna lose anyway. It's kind of, we should try to keep him. He's one of, like you're saying, he's one of the premier players when he is healthy. I think he's kind of showing that again. Not to slight Tyrese Halliburton in this statement, whatever, but we kind of talked about it last time. It's like you really got to be on your A game, man, because
Mhm.
guys are hurt again, like Jonathan Isaac, like guys that have been hurt for a while, they get an opportunity, they start hooping, and they start not becoming hurt. Then what you gonna do? You know what I mean? If LaMelo ends up playing the full season, like he's gonna get all the accolades that we know he can get. You know what I mean? He could even be All NBA, bro.
Yeah,
It's kind of
no,
crazy, but
100%. If
mhm.
if he can keep this up, yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah, bro. Him, Trey Mann, and Brandon Miller, like that's a good core, bro. Like that's a that's gonna be able to do something maybe in the East, maybe.
Yeah. Shout out to Trey Man.
Yeah, bro. Shout out Trey Mann, but he,
6 man of
he's
the
he's
year, bro.
hooping too. Yeah, I think
100%.
Brandon Miller though looks, in terms of like most, like again, like you're saying, like Lamelo, that ain't really surprising to me and you, but Brandon Miller looks even more polished than last year, which is
Mhm.
really cool because people kind of forget, man. Like he got caught up in some things 2 years ago. We kind of talked about it when he was getting drafted. That
Yeah,
stuff's all behind him now. He seems like a lot happier too. The Hornets are a fun team, bro. They
yeah,
got a lot of youthful energy. They're very they compete every night, and they have a new coach, and he coaches very well. But yeah, they're he's way better than Steve Clifford, but they're going in the right direction. It's funny, like as soon as MJ kind of sells the team, and gets out of there, starts
they
to
start they
on
start to
up.
turn everything around, right?
Shit.
Crazy.
Hey, MJ said, "I'm all about winning." He said if he's like, I ain't ever have to apologize for winning. No, yeah. So basically, there's this for people who don't know that. I mean, there's all types of projection websites, bro. Like even ESPN got their own type of thing. But I was scouring the internet, bro. There's something called 538 that it was bought by the Athletic and A, but now they kind of do like news and election shit. Like they don't even do sports things anymore. So these futuristic projections are based on, I think, the 2022-2023 NBA season. They're
Mhm.
from like 2 years ago now because we're obviously 2024, 2025. But I had a couple players, bro, that I wanted to go through with you and kind of obviously break down, and we could talk about, because I got 5 of them right now, so that'll be a good little chunk, and then we can round it out, wrap it up, and we'll head on out. But
Sure.
First person I want to talk to you about, man, is a special player, bro. They like to label. So I'll give you a little rundown. I mean, you'll see whenever I send you the screenshot of it. But they say the age, obviously, what team you're on, and they kind of give you a category of what type of player you are. Okay, so the first going to be Luka Doncic, and obviously, I'm sure you can guess the category. MVP candidate.
Hmm.
But they categorize basically what you are by WAR, which is like your wins above replacement. So essentially, if you're added to a 0-win team, like how many added wins would you give that team? And
Hmm.
so like I was actually just gonna go through with you because we're in 2024 right now, and it says Luka's adding on average about 15.5 wins to a team right now. And I was just gonna go through these with you and see if you agree or disagree and kind of what you've been seeing from these guys this year.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Luca,
Yeah.
he can be put on pretty much any team, and he can at least win
Yes.
you, like you said,
Yeah.
15,
So you,
16 games without a
so you would have to agree with that projection. Like you wouldn't change anything.
right.
Okay, bet. Yeah, I was also gonna ask you too. Like, do you believe that he's in the prime of his career right now? Or you still think he got a couple more years until he gets even better?
Mm. So,
Specifically
I mean,
with like Luka too.
yeah, I was about to say that is the thing with Luca's career that is, I wouldn't say bad, but he started his
Because
career
you're
off
gonna see it on the graph when I send it to you, bro. It's literally about to explain what you're about to say.
really. It's like
Yeah.
what more
What more?
statistically can he do? You know what I mean? He's averaging damn near a 30-point triple double every season, and he's able to contribute wins. But I think it's with him, he's like that heliocentric type of offense. So you have to surround him with players that are going to be able to play well with him. So, but going back to kind of like what I was saying, when I first started, like the whole him starting off so well in his career, it kind of was like a bad thing because looking at statistically, it's like he can't do any more. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like if he averages 27, a 27-point triple double, it's like, oh well, he was averaging a 30-point triple double 2 years ago. So you know what I mean? So it's kind of like expectations
Yeah.
are so high, it's kind
Yeah.
of hard to go any higher
Yep.
than that.
Yeah.
So
It's crazy that you say that because I thought his graph was interesting, like you're explaining. I thought it was like that, but unfortunately, when you've already reached your potential ceiling and you're just consistently at that ceiling for years and years, whenever you do have a tiny bit of a drop off, that's going to hurt your WAR.
mm,
Um, I think that's the thing with Luca, and this is when he was 23, 24. So obviously he's a little older now. He's kind of grown into like what he is going to be even more. But
mhm,
I allude to something that you said. I think the Mavericks have surrounded him with the pieces to win now.
yeah.
So if he's in the finals, it'll be in the next years most likely.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess going back to what you had originally asked me if he's in his prime or if he still has a couple more years. I mean, I think Luca could get better per se, but like, will it translate to like statistically? Will it be better than his first couple seasons? Maybe, but like, I think what I'm looking at with Luca is if you can consistently get the wins. And I
Mm.
feel like that's what it kind of boils down to, especially when you're averaging crazy statistics like he has been his whole career.
I think I think last year was a really good like painted picture of what Luca's career trajectory is going to look like.
Yeah.
Like I think he's going to go back to the Western Conference Finals a couple more times. I think he's going to have a chance to win the finals,
Mhm.
another time. I really do. And that's hard to say cuz it's hard to climb that mountain, man. Like a lot of things have to go right. Like people don't understand the injuries that play into it, right? Everything that goes into account. Like your team has to be healthy. But I feel like as long as Luke is healthy, he's obviously going to be at the top of his game, clearly, and it shows in the graph, and you guys will see that. But I also wanted to go through with some of the comparable like players that they have in their database that
Mm,
his thing looks like. So a couple players that they have, I just wanted to see if you agree or disagree. Is LeBron James?
of course.
You agree with that?
Yes.
Jason Tatum,
Yeah, for the most part.
Kevin Durant.
Mm, yeah, I mean, yes. Different type of player. Obviously, KD's gonna be able to drop 30 on you, fucking 40 every night, but he might
And
not be able to get 9 assists.
I'm saving the best for last because this is a crazy similarity score, and I've seen this on other projection websites too. It's so weird, but his most similar player, you're gonna be surprised, and I want to see if you agree or disagree. Is Tracy McGrady?
Really,
Yes,
man. I mean,
it's insane.
don't get me wrong. McGrady was like my favorite player growing up. Rockets fan,
Yeah,
Yao Ming, that whole era.
but I
Um,
don't.
Obviously, I don't. I wouldn't say. I would say Luka probably has having a better career as of like
Yeah,
already. I mean, he made it to the
yeah,
final.
I agree.
McGrady didn't even get out of the first round. So
No, I agree. It's been All NBA 5 straight years, right?
yeah,
So
first
just
first
that.
team All NBA.
Yeah, just that in itself is just he just doesn't move from that list. Like I'm sure he'll be it this year too, which is
Yeah,
crazy. Just you
yeah,
can say it off top, but
yeah,
yeah,
without a
no.
doubt.
But going into my next player, okay, bro. This one, he's not my favorite, but he's been good, okay. We kind of talked about him a little bit in the last one, but it's Jason Tatum, okay.
Mm, okay.
The Celtics, galore. Everybody loves him.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, they got him in 2024 at 12 wins to your team. And this was before the Celtics got Drew Holiday. This was the year before.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was just gonna see if you agree or disagree with that. And also they have him categorized as a All-Star potential MVP.
Yeah.
He's
I'd
not he's
agree with
not MVP. He's just an All-Star slash potential one.
I agree with that take. I think obviously we know what Jason Tatum can bring to a team. You know, uh, sh-
Yeah,
pretty much a four essentially that can handle the ball, shoot the three level scorer, can play defense. It's just kind of I think the thing that has with his career so far, I think the thing that is kind of hindering me from thinking that he can provide any more is just the fact that his team is so good.
right.
And it's not
Yeah.
anything against him per
No,
se.
of course not.
It's more
Of
so
course not.
like the Celtics front office are able to build a great team around him, you know.
That's
But I think
good point.
he is obviously one of the best players in the league, without a
Yeah.
doubt.
No,
But
of course.
it's just kind of like I don't know if he would be able to be as successful on the Wizards, let's say.
Interesting. Yeah, no, like you're saying, like with Luca, I feel like you could stick him on any team, and
Mhm.
he would kind of add to that team, kind of
Yeah,
like that LeBron does. Like where you put
right.
him on any team, no matter how bad they are, you're still gonna get Jokic, same thing, right? But
Mhm.
with Tatum, I think it's very specific to the Celtics, kind of like that homegrown superstardom. Not to say that he wouldn't be successful in other places, but just like with the recent success it's definitely because his team is so good. But that's no slight to his play. I think he's been a brilliant player, still All NBA talent.
Mhm.
And again, like he didn't win the Finals MVP, so obviously Jalen Brown did. But again, he's still one of the best playoff performers that we have in our generation. He's not afraid of the moment. That's another thing we didn't really talk about with Luca, but clearly a playoff performer, not
Mhm.
really afraid, to shy away from the, which I think kind of helps, to your career. Obviously, it's going to make you go deeper into the season, obviously, because you want to play as much basketball as you can whenever playoffs roll around.
Right,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, no. So I agree with that too. I think he does add like 11 to 12 wins to your team, but
Yeah.
nothing like again like extraordinary like Luca. Like Luca's adding a whole 3 or 4 extra wins on
Mhm.
top of what Jason Tatum's doing. So kind of goes to show you the difference in tiers.
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of to the most comparable players, just so you could see, you know, if you agree with any of these.
Okay.
First one we got is Carmelo Anthony.
I'm not mad at that.
Nah,
Honestly,
me either.
like I think that's
I
a
saw that
really
one and I was like,
that's a really good comparison. I mean, obviously Melo
yeah,
probably not as good defensively, but I mean offensively he's up there with the best of them. You know what I mean? And what he was
yo,
doing with the Knicks whenever they were kind of, I wouldn't say struggling, but like not where they're at now. He was giving them life, and he if he was on the like playing, you're like, oh yeah, no, that's gonna be a hard game because Melo's probably gonna drop 30.
right, exactly. Like in his prime, Melo's all buckets, all ice. So yeah, I agree with that. So like when I saw that, I was like, I could definitely see him. Like he kind of reminds me of Melo the way he scores a little bit. So it's
Mm,
kind of interesting when they put him on there. Another one that had me interested was they said Paul George is another one,
mm.
and I
I
was
like
like, I could see it.
maybe, yeah, I could see it.
I could see like a younger PG, not right
Right.
now, but
Yeah,
like
yeah,
a
like
younger like when PG used to really guard.
yeah, like in Indiana and even like OKC
Yeah,
type.
exactly, exactly.
I agree. That's I like that one too. Damn, yeah,
Yeah.
they have like really good comparisons, honestly.
Yeah, bro, they really did a good job with it. I think it's cool, you know. So I think those are the top two ones. The other one that they had that was interesting was Kobe. But
Mm.
you know, it's funny. He always says, "Oh, I love Kobe. Oh, I feel like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
Kobe."
yeah, for
Which
sure. I mean, I feel like
for sure.
that's cool. Like, I don't know. I think Kobe's different, different
Mm,
mentality. You know what I mean? I feel
yeah,
like
I agree.
Kobe in his prime could have been put on any team, and I mean, obviously, even like the early two or like mm,
Mm.
2010s, like before he started getting like Dwight Howard, Steve Nash, and all them. Like he was kind of, you know what I mean?
They have him projected to play almost 3,000 minutes this year, which is gonna be right on. I feel
Jason
like he's
Tatum.
gonna be, yeah. Like I feel like he seems like he's gonna have a good year this year, and
Yeah, yeah. I
yeah,
feel like
again, that's really
health
cool.
really isn't an issue for Tatum.
Yeah, no, that's another great point that you bring up is like he can just be naturally be a winner because he's always been healthy and he's
Mm,
always kind of found a way to stay on the court, and that's gonna help you stats. Obviously, the more games you play, the
mhm.
more opportunities you have to get stats.
Right. Exactly.
But going into our next player, bro, this is another interesting one. Of course, we had to talk about this guy, man. It's Ant-Man.
Mm,
I mean, um, you know, again, this dude is Michael Jordan reincarnated, low key.
right.
That's what we like to say. But
Best
this was
shooting guard in the
obviously a
league.
couple years ago. But they have him adding 10 wins to your team currently right now, and they categorize them as again an all-star potential MVP. So would
I
you have to agree with that, or do you think
oh,
he's better than that?
I think he can be an MVP. Honestly, eventually,
Me too.
not saying next year, 2 years, or even this year, but he could definitely be an MVP.
As you get older, bro. Yeah.
Yes, especially he's shooting a lot more, which he kind of has to now. Shooting the three ball, I think. Shit, like he was averaging like the
What,
most
12
threes.
game or
Yes,
some shit?
something crazy, so which is cool to see because coming into the league, we knew he could jump out the gym. He had all the athletic abilities to be one of the best players in the league, which
Right.
he is now. But it's crazy that you know 2 years ago they were saying, or based off of what
Yeah,
538.
538 was saying.
Yeah, like yeah, no, they're spot on, man, because
Yeah,
he
bro.
can he's definitely an MVP type player without a
Yeah,
doubt.
I was gonna say I saw this chart, and whenever you get a look at the screenshot, you'll probably be like, "Yeah, this is right on." They say that you know, he'll probably like peak relatively soon, just because he doesn't have like mandibles again like Luca has. You know, guys that his passing ability is not in the 99th percentile. He's not going to give you 10 assists, right?
Mhm.
He's not going to get you 10 rebounds either, just because he's not the biggest dude.
Yeah.
But what he is going to do is he's going to add value to any team, obviously, and that shows in his chart. They said that his current value is like 250 million, which is honestly a little lower than the current know cap that it's gonna be at, but
Oh
that's
yeah,
probably spot on, bro. Yeah, I liked his chart. Let's kind of I'm gonna go into the players that he was relatively similar to because I actually didn't look at Ants, so I'm interested.
for sure. Yeah,
Oh, bro, man, let's see if you agree with this one. They said Kobe Bryant.
maybe like a young Kobe.
I was gonna say a young Kobe,
Yeah,
not a old, but a younger Kobe, like a more athletic. I could see that. Yeah.
yeah,
Especially, well, you know what I will say, like you're saying, Ant can shoot better than a young Kobe though, so I don't know. Like
yeah,
Ant's 3 point percentage is definitely a lot higher than Kobe's was at his that age, I think.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, 100%.
Another similar player that they have him to is Kyrie Irving, which is
Mm,
interesting.
that is
I could
interesting.
kind of like the scoring, the rebounds, the assists. The rebounds and the assists are like hit or miss sometimes. Like Kyrie will get you 6 assists, but then 2 assists
Right.
or like four
Yeah.
rebounds, but it'll get you 30.
Yeah, it's crazy because different type of players, right? One's more
Yeah,
so finesse, more so just like ball handling. The other more is like athletic ability, dunking on people, jumping over you. You know what I mean?
right,
So
right.
cool. It's cool to see that because I feel like that's probably not a comparison people would say just based off of the game. But if maybe like statistically, like numbers,
Just,
like
yeah,
looking at it for sure, because they probably
sure.
average around the same
Yeah.
stats, you know?
And that
So
kind of again in like that but their wins the wins that they add, it's like gonna be relatively similar. So it makes sense why their charts would be on the same kind of plane because they're adding about the same amount of wins. I would even argue probably Kyrie's a little bit worse in that
yeah,
department, especially because he's aging.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
it might be
Do,
like a more like, what's up?
I was gonna say, do you think, kind of like obviously not to throw shade at Kyrie, but like, do you think Ant is in the same way of like you have to he has to be like the sidekick to or like the Batman to some like or the Robin to Batman
I
type of
mean,
thing?
um,
Or do you think Ant can be that guy?
I think Ant could be the guy, but I think he needs a Robin. Like I don't think you could just have Ant and then like a, he's not a LeBron or even like a Luca. Even like I don't think Luca necessarily even needs Kyrie, but having Kyrie there really helped. I would say he needs him now, low key, but like just Ant in general has more of he can draw more attention to the defense just with the shooting, and naturally he's kind of got that charisma that kind of is like, oh, I'm the guy. I'm not afraid of the moment. And
Right, right, right.
he's another like good playoff performer.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
100%.
yeah, for sure. This next one, man, I can't skip over him, obviously. But it's gonna be Shea Gilgeous Alexander.
Mm,
So this is from 2 years ago, man. So it's interesting to see what they said about him.
this
But they
was
have him as
the year before his first team All NBA?
so they had him as an up and comer. That's it, with
Wow,
only a market value of 100 million.
wow. I mean, I to say, uh, anything more than that, like, if people thought that he was gonna be anything more than that, I think I mean, obviously, Chris Paul probably knew, and then, the people that were on, the Clippers with
It's
him whenever he got
crazy,
drafted, they knew. But as, like, a casual, yeah, you for sure didn't think Shea was gonna be what he is right now. So,
bro.
I
They
I
have
I
him at
agree.
only 4 wins
Wow,
currently this year, and I
that's
think he's at double that, almost 10 wins probably to the
oh,
Thunder.
yeah. I sh
Yeah,
So what you were saying, Tatum has 12,
yeah. Tatum has
and
12,
like, adds, like, 15? I would put him maybe not with on that Tatum level, but
but
like,
right there,
he's
yeah,
right. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
I think it just goes to show more so of how well he developed, and he
bro,
kinda stepped into that role of, like, "Okay, I'm that guy,"
yeah,
I can take over games,
dude.
average 30,
Hell
you know?
yeah. I was so lit to look at his chart because I was like, I'm sure they don't even have like what he's actually doing. Like I'm sure they didn't even nobody thought that was coming.
No, because now
So
you
it's cool.
said they had him as like an up and comer.
Yeah, that's what they put, but he's obviously an MVP candidate,
Now he's an MVP candidate,
franchise player.
all NBA. So yeah, that's crazy.
His
What
market value is triple that, almost 300 million.
who did he who were his like comparisons?
I was about to get into that. Yeah, no. So I wanted to see who they also have like the similarity scores, which I think is cool. So you can see like who's the most similar to this player. But at their current projection, when they did this a couple years ago, they said he played most like De'Aaron Fox, had a similar career trajectory
Wow.
in terms of wins added.
Yeah. I mean, I would say he blew that out the water.
Yeah, the third person on this list is Kobe, which I could see like a defender again, like good scorer. He's
Mm,
not as athletic as Kobe, but
uh,
mid range again. Like I can see that why their graphs are similar. That makes
yeah.
sense. I'm
Yeah.
sure SGA probably watched Kobe,
Oh
studied
yeah.
his free throw. He looks like he
Yeah.
got some Kobe in him
Yeah, he has
for
that
sure.
dog.
This other one, though, I want to see if you agree with this though. Donovan Mitchell.
Okay. That's who they compared him to?
Yeah,
Ooh. I feel like people forget like what Donovan Mitchell is doing in Utah.
bro, he got playoff records, dude. He also dropped 70 only 2 years ago. Like,
Right. So I mean that's a cool comparison because I feel like that is probably what people thought his like cap would be. But I would
I
say
think he's
he's better than
yeah,
Donovan Mitchell.
100%.
100%,
I would,
right? Yeah.
I think Shea is a top 3 player in the NBA. Right? I think he's better than Giannis. I'd rather have
Really.
Shea. Yeah,
Really.
because Shea can shoot.
He's getting that pull up three
Yeah, I was
now.
gonna say Giannis is great, bro, but he just can't shoot. Like
Yeah.
he still can't hit the threes that we need. But Shea can. So I'm still yeah. Jokic can and Luca can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
So
best players in the league are able to pretty much do
yeah.
everything.
It's crazy that Giannis, when I was looking at his chart, it's crazy to see how productive he's been without a 3-point shot. His 3-point percentile is like among the lowest in the league,
Yeah.
and he still gets 30.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
It's
nuts.
insane.
Yeah, so
It's
but
nuts.
yeah, shout out to Shea, bro.
Yeah, shout out to Shea for sure. And
'Cause
this is definitely last but not least. Paolo Banchero as a rookie.
As a rookie,
Yep.
what they have?
So they said that his market value was only 90 million at the current time, and he was just labeled as a great prospect. So what do
Mm,
you think about that?
yeah, I mean, I think we know what Paolo could be. I mean,
Bro,
we've
I
seen
was
it
gonna
for
say he turned into more than that.
yeah,
For
easily
real.
all-star,
Yeah.
MVP potentially, you know what I mean? Like he's
Make an all
just
NBA team.
he the way he plays, you posted him playing in 7th grade on Three Man Weave story,
Yeah,
and he plays the exact same.
bro,
And
it's awesome to see that.
it's dope to see that because, another guy that doesn't, shoot the 3 ball that well, but he could still get to it regardless of, lacking in that department, and
Right.
he's 6'10", point guard essentially. He's a damn near a power forward bringing up the
No,
ball.
yeah, literally, bro. I mean,
So
he's a point forward, bro. He can initiate offense. He can guard a little bit. They had him adding this year only 3 wins, which obviously he's adding like 9 wins.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
triple that.
yeah.
He's made the Magic a real contender in the East, so it's definitely dope. Even I mean, they knew it though. They labeled him as a great prospect. Like it was pretty clear that Paulo Banchero was going to be something special. But I think people kind of swept it under the rug, man. Like he definitely could be an all-star this year. Unfortunately, he got hurt. So those games played are going to be interesting when it comes down to the end of the season.
Mm.
But we'll have to see, bro, for sure. But we'll get into who he's kind of most similar to. It's interesting, that the highest similarity score that they got on this is Anthony Edwards.
Really?
Yeah, year 2021, Anthony Edwards.
Interesting.
They
Okay.
even have the year of like what player archetype is like they're comparing them to.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
Super cool.
crazy, bro. I would say like I feel like he kind of contributed a little bit more than what Ant did
I was
at a
gonna say, I was gonna say just a little bit more. 2021 Ant was good though.
yeah,
He
no,
was
no,
good.
he's
He was
cold.
good.
I think like kind of what we were saying, right? Ant could, drop 25, 20, whatever it is, 5, 5. I feel like Paolo, what is that what he averaged his rookie year? Like I feel like he went
Yeah, I was
kind
gonna
of
say he averaged like 20 points a game on like not that good of shooting, but I mean, he was a rookie. He's still one rookie of the year.
yeah, yeah. So
He's still a
yeah,
beast.
that's an interesting comparison because you're essentially
Look,
comparing what Ant was what like second year, third year in the league by then,
yep, yep.
like a first year Paolo. I like it. I like
Another
it.
person that they have him similar to is Brandon Ingram from 2017.
Mm. Was that Pelicans? Like one of his
Yep.
like, first couple seasons
I
with
was
the
gonna
Pelicans?
say I think
Second
no, it was either that or the year before. It was the last year he was with the Lakers.
Laker. Oh, okay.
It was
I
like
feel like I feel like BI is a better scorer, like
yeah,
shooter.
I would have to agree with
I would say
that. Shooter.
shooter. Yeah.
Yeah, free throw
Um,
shooter for sure.
yeah, yeah, and shit, even three ball. I don't know if Ingram was shooting it like that, but I mean, obviously we know that he can spread out the floor a little bit better than Paolo. Um,
Yeah.
that's very interesting because I feel like they don't really play the same at all.
No, no, no,
But like we're
no.
saying, I think looking at the stats wise, that's probably a really good comparison, because
Yeah,
they're
no,
probably averaging the same type of numbers.
for sure. We're gonna do one more. This is
For
a
sure.
little like add on. I looked up LaMelo Ball. Just wanted to see.
Okay.
A couple years ago, they had his value at 300 million, and he was labeled as just an MVP candidate.
Wow.
And so far in 2024, they had him projected to add 12 wins, and that's what he's doing.
Yeah, I agree. That's
That's
crazy.
insane to see. But that's a little one we'll throw in there. We won't talk about it too much because we're coming up on what this is almost a hour episode.
Yeah, probably like hour going on like an hour and a half, something like that.
Don't matter, but yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
had him as an MVP candidate, bro, with a market value of $300 million. Similar players: Kyrie Irving, Tyreek Evans from 2011, which is sick to see. That's
Mm.
sick.
Was that his
Uh,
rookie?
yeah, yeah.
He
And then
averaged like 25.
D'Angelo Russell,
Mm.
which I
What
can kind of see,
what
like
year?
threes only passing, but
What
I
year,
think
Dan?
LaMelo is more creative.
Was it
Let's
the
see,
Nets or
2018. Yeah, star
okay?
D'Lo.
I was about to say I definitely not Lakers D'Lo, but
No, like All-Star D'Lo, I think he was cold.
he was
Bro, people forget he made an All-Star team, fam. Like he was
bro,
getting to
bro. That was
it.
the Nets right after they had like the Paul Pierce,
Yeah,
KG,
KG and
Aaron
yeah, that was
Williams era. Like he was
he
their
was the
guy,
guy.
and then they
Yeah,
ended
yeah,
up blowing that up. But no, yeah, he was
he was
cold, bro. Yeah, I like that comparison because I feel like obviously, like I said, don't really play the same, right? Not
right.
D'Lo's not as like flashy and no, he was flashy back then, but
Yeah, yeah.
he's
I
not like a Lamelo Ball type, you know what I mean? Like where he's just like
exactly not one-footed. Yeah, yeah,
one
like
footed 3 pointers fading away, like
parking lot threes. Yeah,
dude, doing
for
crazy
sure.
like stuff that you would do in 2K. You know what I mean? But no, yeah,
100.
D'Lo, I like that. That's a good comparison.
Yeah, bro, and I think it's a good little segment, man. So we'll have to drop the link in the description so you guys can check it out if you want.
For
Just
sure, yeah.
scroll through if you're
All
interested
the
in.
little
But
the basketball nerds can check that out.
yeah, bro, and they got percentiles for everything. It shows you, like it even shows you kind of like how much they thought their contracts were going to be worth. They had LaMelo at 60 million, playing
Mm,
2,300 minutes. So
mm.
yeah, I mean healthy LaMelo, you know, 8 draft true shooting percentage, 50 percent, 86% from the line, 29% usage. Like that's LaMelo Ball right there. But yeah, no, this was a dope segment for sure. I'm glad you liked it.
Yeah, no, that's super dope, bro. I definitely gotta check it out. Yeah, no.
100%.
Was there anything else?
No, I mean just not right now. All right, the betting segment. I had Jason Tatum 30 plus today, Anthony Davis 30 plus, little parlay. Nothing too crazy, man, but that's the way that we'll wrap it up. I know the games are already on right now, unfortunately, but
Uh,
we can try to get it.
Cavs up by 13 at the half, beating the Bucks.
Bro, not surprised with that. Again, I don't think they're beating the Cavs. The Cavs are a great team. Like they're better than they're great, and the Bucks are not a great team.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. I didn't even see that score, but I was assuming it was ugly. We're actually down 11 to the Pistons right now, so I think AD will have to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily,
Yeah.
so
He probably will. And that's the thing with AD though. He can.
yeah, he
Especially
can.
against you know, the Detroit that doesn't really have
We
anyone
just can't
that
be
can stop.
losing to these. We can't be losing to these cupcake teams, man. We got to make sure we beat these boys for sure. So we'll
Yeah.
definitely, me and CJ will have to get into teams because all 30 today, man. It's a big day in the NBA. So definitely gonna
It is.
have to get on YouTube TV.
Oh, for sure, bro.
Yeah, you ready?
You ready? Yeah, I think we're
No, we
good.
need yeah, but we need this man though back so he can kind of wrap it up.
Right. Well, we appreciate y'all for listening and watching to this episode of Three Man Weave. It is your boys over here, CJ and ZD.
Dreamer, dreamer.
Three
Yes,
man.
sir.
And yeah, we'll catch y'all next time. Peace.
For sure. Peace.
Thunder up,
Bring that
baby.
up.